According to this affidavit from the FBI, a Punta Gorda man threatened to shoot up a church in Memphis, Tennessee, and the attack was supposed to happen this Thursday. Tom Moricade of the Kimberly Center tells me this is a case that is steeped in stigma. There are pages and pages of Cape Coral properties listed in that class action lawsuit. Jane, this story has been a hot topic in this neighborhood. People have been stopping us, asking questions, taking pictures of the sketches that we have. They want to know what these two men look like, so I want to show you those sketches one more time. And This is what the mother of the teen that died, Christine Gray, wants to see out here. She says she wants to see more lights and more sidewalks in the Suncoast community. Take a look. This is 29-year-old Joshua Foreman, and over the last 10 years, he's been arrested by local police at least 9 times. John tells me that replacing thousands of pounds of seawall for his crew, not a problem. Navigating Cape Coral's tiny canals with these giant barges, also not a problem. You know, Shari, we're all guilty of this, right? We're walking around with our faces buried in our phones, but Cape Coral police tell us that they're seeing entirely too many students doing this while crossing busy streets. Jane and Patrick, that decision was a pretty easy one for us to make here at Fox 4. In my piece tonight, you're actually going to hear and see some of the messages that Wade Wilson sent me over the last few days. You're also going to hear from an FGCU journalism professor who helped to break down the ethics behind our decision. Take a listen. It started with one on Saturday, and then the emails started to flood in. When those went unanswered, phone calls. All of them from Wade Wilson, the man now charged in the deaths of Diane Ruiz and Christine Melton.
The Lee County Grand Jury met today and returned an indictment against Wilson for 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder.
I spoke to him on the phone on Friday. He claimed he was innocent then, but did admit to being with both Ruiz and Melton in the hours before their deaths.
I did not commit these murders, and I'm innocent.
Fox 4 spoke with Wilson's ex-girlfriend, who has also told us that he has admitted to those crimes.
He admitted over the phone to me that he killed both of those women.
His frenzy of messages since then have all said the same thing. He wanted to talk to me, to Fox 4, and to share something, quote, career-making, but he wanted to be paid for that information. I told him I wasn't interested. He has since threatened to bring that offer to another news agency.
Journalists face murky ethical decisions all the time, but this isn't one of them. Checkbook journalism is pretty much frowned on, whoever you talk to.
FGCU journalism professor Lynn Milner says there are very strict and rare circumstances under which journalists would ever pay for information.
If it is going to do the public serious harm if you do not run with it, and if you can corroborate it.
In this case, the decision was an easy one because it aligns with the ethics we practice here every single day, which include the following.
You want to be able to act independently. Remember that you serve the public. You don't serve a source or anyone other than the public, right? You're there for the public good. You want to minimize harm.
And in light of today's new charges, I reached out to Wade to see if he still stood by those claims he made on Friday. He told me he will not answer any more of my questions unless Fox 4 management pays up, and that's not going to happen.
This is really emotional chapter because I never expected to be face to face.
What would you do if you had the chance to see someone who caused you the greatest pain you've ever experienced?
It was very emotional.
It's a situation that Port Charlotte Holocaust survivor Moshe Peter Loth faced last month.
This is one of a handful of cases where Germany is trying former Nazis.
Loth, who was born in the Stutthof concentration camp, now in modern-day Poland, was called to Germany to testify against a former camp guard. According to court documents, that man, who goes by the name Bruno D., is charged in the deaths of more than 5,000 people there.
Where he was stationed, you could see everything.
After questioning him before a panel of international judges, Loth says he then did the unthinkable.
Eventually, I stood up and I says, "Could you forgive me?" To him. And he said, "For what?" You know, like the whole court went berserk. because I was angry, bitter, hateful.
And then a hug.
I forgave him, and then we hold each other, and when I was holding him, he said, pray for me, forgive me, forgive me.
It's behavior Loft says he can't quite explain.
Did you ever in your life think that you would hug?
I would never.
But what Loft can say is that he will continue to share his story and the stories of the Holocaust for the rest of his life.
He who forgets history, history will repeat itself.
In Port Charlotte, Rochelle Alleyne, Fox 4, in your corner.